In this video, I'm going to go over ACT problems to deal with the greatest common factor. Now the first thing I want to cover is divisibility rules. So if I want to know if something's divisible by 2, that simply is the last digit is 0, 2, 4, or 8, then it's divisible by 2. So if it's an even number, it's divisible by 2. So if I look at 224, the last digit is 4, and that's an even number, so it's divisible by 2. If I look at 3, and a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So look at 156, I add up the digits, 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So that's how I know 156 is divisible by 3. If you look at 4, if the last two digits are divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. So we'll look at 116, the last two digits form 16, and 16 is divisible by 4. So 116 is also divisible by 4. Now for 5, simply if the last digit is a 0 or a 5, that number is divisible by 5. So we'll look at 135, the last digit is a 5, so it's going to be divisible by 5. If we look at 6, so if it's even and divisible by 3, the number is divisible by 6. Remember our rule for divisible by 3, if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So we'll look at 126. 6 is even, so that number is an even number. If I add up the digits, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 6 is 9, 9 is divisible by 3, 3 times 3 gives you 9, so 126 is divisible by 6. Then we'll look at 9. The number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. So we'll look at 225. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 is divisible by 9, so 225 is divisible by 9. Look at 10. The number is divisible by 10 if it ends with 0. So look at the number 500 that ends with 0, so 500 is divisible by 10. If we look at 12, a number is divisible by 12 if it's divisible by 3 and 4. So remember our rule for 3, if the digits add up to a number that's divisible by 3, and divisible by 4 if the last two digits are divisible by 4. So for number 228, we add the digits together. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 8 is 12, 12 is divisible by 3. Okay, so that's good. If we look at the last two digits, 28, 28 is divisible by 4. So this number is divisible by 3 and 4, so it's divisible by 12. So typically your test will only have one of these problems, so I probably wouldn't necessarily memorize all the divisibility rules, but they do come in handy. So the things you want to know your times tables, you want to know your divisibility rules, you want to know how to type this in the calculator and then divide it, and you also want to know your prime factorization. Okay, so first I wanted to show you how to do this using the prime factorization. So if I look at 60, if I do my factor tree, I can do 6 times 10. 6 is 2 times 3, and 10 is 2 times 5. So the prime factorization must be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, or 2 squared times 3 times 5. If we look at 84, 84 is 12 times 7. 12 is 3 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. So the prime factorization is 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. So 2 squared times 3 times 7. We'll look at 126. That's going to be 2 times 63 63 can be 3 times 21, and 21 is 3 times 7. So the prime factorization is 2 times 3 times 3 times 7, or 2 times 3 squared times 7. So I'm going to look at the common factors that they have. So we have 2, 2, and a 2. I'm going to have 2 to the lowest exponent, so 2 to the first is what I'm going to use. We also have a 3, 3 is in common. I'm going to take the lowest exponent, so times 3 to the first. Now we have 5s and 7s, but none of them are in common between all three. So we take this 2 times 3, and 6 is going to be our greatest common factor. Now that way was a little bit time consuming, so if you're good at your times tables and divisibility rules, you can use that to make it a little bit faster. So I'm going to start with the highest number, 12, for my answer choices. So does 12 go into 60? Yes, 12 times 5 is 60. Does 12 go into 84? 12 times 7 is 84, so yes. And does 12 go into 126? So 126 you might not be sure about, so you just do that on your calculator. 126 divided by 12, and that does not work out. Okay, so now you can go to the 6. 6 go into 60. 6 times 10, yep. Does 6 go into 84? You can use your divisibility rules. Okay, so for 6, if the number is even, 84 is even, and is it divisible by 3? So add the digits together, 8 and 4 is 12. 12 is divisible by 3, so that works out. Okay, so same thing with 126. 126 is even. You add the digits. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. And 9 is divisible by 3, so that does work out. So again, 6 will be our greatest common factor. If you're really struggling and you didn't know your times tables or your divisibility rules, you can simply just take 12, take the highest one, and divide that into each of the numbers on your calculator. Then you move down to 6, and then take 6, divide it into each of those numbers, and see if it works out. So whichever way is faster for you, you probably only get one of these questions on the test. Alright, so this problem says, what is the greatest common factor of 45, 50, and 84? So again, you can start with the largest answer, which is 5. Okay, so I know 5 goes into 45 and 50 because they end with 5 or 0. So 85 is not divisible by 5. So we move on to 3. 45 added together, 4 and 5 is 9. That's divisible by 3. 50 is not divisible by 3 because 5 plus 0 is 5. That's not divisible by 3. Okay, so you go to 2. 45 is not even. Okay. And then 1. 1 is a factor of all numbers, so our answer here will be B. So doing it that way is probably a little faster than calculator because you'll need to type it in, but you did have to know your divisibility rules. By 5, and we did 3, and we did 2, and the only thing left really is the 1 in this case. Now another way to do this is to use your TI-8384 calculator. Alright, so that has a GCD function on it, greatest common divisor. If you go under Math, and then scroll over to Num, and then scroll down to number 9, or just press 9 for the GCD function. So if you select that, you'll get a GCD on the screen. Now I want you to do that again. Go to Math, Num, choose number 9. So you get another one. Then we're going to enter 60, comma 84, close parentheses, comma 126, close parenthesis, press enter, and that will give you the 6. Okay, so how does this work? So the inner GCD will find the greatest common divisor between 60 and 84. Then that result will be used in the outer GCD, with the 126, and that will find the greatest common divisor overall. Alright, so this is probably the quickest way to do it if you have this type of calculator. If you have one of the TI multi-view, they also have that functionality on there. So you might want to check out your manual to see where it's located.